Good morning, everybody. Let us read our next lesson, and the name of the lesson is Desert Animals. So, I think all of you know what desert is. Desert is the place where less vegetation grows, where there is less rain, and life is quite hard. And in this chapter, we are going to study about animals that live in desert in those areas. So, deserts are the driest places on earth and sometimes go for months or even years without rain. So, deserts are the most dry place on the earth, and sometimes for months and even for years there is no rainfall, and when there is no rain, obviously it is dry. But even the desert animals cannot survive without water. But even the animals that live in these areas, in these dry areas, desert areas, they cannot live without water. They also need water for their survival. Or for long periods in the scorching sun, they also cannot remain alive in the burning hot or the scorching sun, that is very hot sun. So, they have had to find different ways of coping with the harsh conditions. So, the animals and the other people living there have to find different methods by which they can cope up with the difficult conditions. With the help of that, they can adjust themselves with those difficult conditions. For example, 𝘿𝙚𝙨 is a mouse like desert rodent with long hind legs. इसके पीछे की टांगें लंबी होती हैं, एक तरह का चूहा होता है. Spend the hottest part of the day in the cool underground burrows. Burrow is the digging in the soil, और घुर जिसको बोलते हैं, मिट्टी में खोद के इसके अंदर रहता है. So, during the hot period of the day, 𝘿𝙚𝙨 spend their time underground, and strange insects called darkling beetles are expert at catching drops of moisture on their legs, then lifting them into the air until the drops trickle down into their mouths. Same way, there are very wonderful kind of insects living there, like darkling beetles. Beetle is also a kind of insect that catches raindrops or moisture drops on their legs and then lifts them up into the air, and then the drop falls in their mouth. Not all deserts are endless seas of rolling sand dunes, but as is the common belief, all deserts are not endless seas of sands, or all the deserts are not made up of sand dunes. Some are rocky, some are full of rocks, stones, pebbly, that is stony, and dotted with small bushes, while others are sprinkled with colorful flowers during the spring. While the other deserts are full of beautiful colorful flowers during the spring season, बसंत में अच्छे फूल खिल जाते हैं. There are more than 2,300 different kinds of snakes around the world. There are 2,300 different kinds, the varieties of snakes around the whole world, ranging from just 15 centimeter long snake to more than 11 meters. The smallest snake is of 15 centimeter only, and the longest is even of 11 meters. Most snakes are quite harmless. Most of the snakes are not poisonous, they are not harmful, but There are a few that are so poisonous they can kill a human being with just one bite. But there are some snakes which are very poisonous, very dangerous, and a single bite can kill a human being. Most snakes lay eggs. Most of the snakes lay eggs, but there are many which give birth to their young ones. But there are snakes that instead of giving eggs, they give birth to their kids. In the dry, rocky deserts of America lives a rather evil-looking snake with a very bad reputation. In the rocky deserts of United States of America lives a very evil-looking snake, a snake whose appearance is also not good, and with a very bad reputation. It has a very bad name. Its frightening rattle can be heard as far as 30 meters away. So when it hisses or when it moves, its noise can be heard at a distance of 30 meters, and it can strike with lightning speed, and it can bite you with a very quick speed like that of lightning. For the rattlesnake, or rattler as it is sometimes called, prefers to avoid people if it possibly can. But the good thing is the rattlesnake, or this poisonous deadly snake, always prefers to live away from the human population. It holds its tail upright. It keeps its tail in upper direction and rattles the ant whenever it is disturbed, and it makes noise with the end of the tail whenever it is disturbed, in the hope that the intruder will go away, with this expectation that the one who has attacked him will go away. However, if its warnings are ignored, if one does not listen to its warnings, and it feels threatened, when it feels that its life is in danger, it will coil ready to bite. It will coil itself and then gets ready to bite. But the rattler itself cannot hear the noise of its own tail makes. But the problem is the snake itself cannot hear the sound made by its tail. Like most snakes, it hears things through vibrations in the ground. As most of the snakes has no ears and they feel the vibrations in the ground. If a person walks nearby, the snake can feel the movement. If a person moves closer to a snake, it can feel the movement. But if the same person were to shout, if the same person is shouting, it would not hear a thing. If a person does not move and shouts, it will not hear. Rattlesnakes are very common and widespread animals living right across the American continent from Canada to Argentina. So rattlesnakes are very common in the American continent and spreading from Canada to Argentina. They feed on a variety of prey. They feed on a variety of animals or insects or other reptiles, including mice, a mouse, voles, rats, chipmunks, and many other. Chipmunks are small ground squirrels having light and dark stripes, or these rodents. And small animals. Rattlesnakes kill their prey with venom. They kill their prey with poison. Like all snakes, they swallow the unfortunate animal's whole. They do not chew it. Instead, they swallow it. They take it as complete part in the body. Few snakes have to eat more than once a week, and some, such as the larger pythons, can survive for a year or more without eating. Few snakes have to eat only once a week, and some, like a python, a big python, can live without food almost for a year. Mongooses like to hunt together, but they always keep a lookout for dangerous predators nearby. So mongoose also like to hunt in a company. They go together, but they always keep a lookout. They are always in search of dangerous predators who feed on others. Poking their noses into holes, they look into the holes nearby, overturning rocks with their paws. They overturn on their paws and scratching the ground with their sharp claws. They scratch the ground, they dig the ground with their claws, nails. Banded mongoose are very amusing animals to watch. So these animals, when they have bent themselves, they are quite wonderful, entertaining to look at. A common sight in many parts of Africa, they travel in groups of about 20 to forays for beetles. So this is a common sight in the African continent, where the mongoose travel in a group of about 20 to hunt for food, and they eat beetles, millipedes and other small creatures that live in the forest. They like to hunt together. They prefer to hunt in a group, keeping in touch whenever they go out of sight behind rocks or bushes by twittering and calling. And in this process, when one of their colleague or friend is hidden behind a rock or bushes, they twitter and call each other. Always on the lookout for danger. They are always very careful about the danger from hawks. Hawk is the bird, hunting bird, eagles, and large snakes. They warn one another with a special alarm call if they spot anything suspicious. If anything is doubtful is seen, they warn their friends, their group members. Mongooses are famous for being able to kill snakes without getting hurt themselves. Mongooses have a popular belief, they are famous, that they can kill a snake without being hurt or without injuring itself. Their reactions are so fast that they can dodge each time the snake strikes. They react so quickly that every time the snake tries to strike, they can dodge it. They can quickly avoid the attack. They continually make a nuisance of themselves until, after a while, when the snake gets tired, they continuously try to make nonsense movements and making that snake feel tired. They quickly dive in for the kill. And as soon as the snake is tired, they quickly attack it and kill it. All the female mongoose have their kitten at about the same time. All the female mongoose have got their kitten at the same time. They are raised by the whole group in a den made inside an old termite mound or hollow log. So the young ones are raised together by the whole group in a den, gufa, in a hole that is made inside an old termite mound or hollow log or a old hollow tree, log of wood. When most of the adults are out looking for food, one or two males stay behind to stand guard until the others return for the night. When most of the adults are out searching for the food, one or two males stay behind to look after the young ones and guard them until they come back at the night. Another animal which lives in the desert is the camel. Another wonderful animal that lives in this desert dry areas is the camel. Camels were first domesticated by people many thousands of years ago. So many thousands of years before, people domesticated them. People domesticated camels. In the wild, camels usually live in small groups of up to 30 animals. In the forest areas, camels usually live in the groups, and that is sometimes 30 or more than 30 camels together. Camels have long, shaggy winter coats to keep warm and shorter, tidier coats in the summer to keep cool. So camels have long, shaggy winter coats covering to keep themselves warm, and shorter, cleaner coats here during the summer to keep themselves cool. A thirsty camel can drink as much as 30 gallons of water. That is about 500 full glasses. So a thirsty camel, when it has not got water, in one time it can drink 500 glasses of water in just 10 minutes. Normally, however, it gets all the moisture it needs from desert plants and can survive for up to 10 months without drinking any water at all. Normally, whatever plants it eats in the desert, it can survive on the basis of that moisture and can go without water almost for 10 months. That's wonderful. There are two different kinds of camel. One known as the dromedary has only a single hump. The one that is known as the dromedary, it has only one hump. Hump is the upper part on the back of the camel. The other is called a Bactrian camel and has two humps. Some camels have one hump, others have two. In the picture you can see the camel with the two humps. The humps help the animals to survive in the desert by acting as the storage containers. The hump of these animals help them to survive in the harsh conditions of the desert, as they act as the storehouse of the food. But they don't store water. But these humps do not store water, as many people wrongly believe. Many people wrongly have the conception, the idea that their hump has the water inside it. They are full of fat. They store fat of the body. This fat nourishes the camels when food is scarce, when the food is less, or when there is no food. This fat stored in the hump of the camel helps its nourishment. If they have nothing to eat for several days, if a camel does not get anything to eat for many days, their humps shrink as the fat is used. The hump of the camel is shrunk up, is contracted as the fat is used up by the body. There are many other ways in which camels are adapted to desert life. There are many other ways in which the camel has adjusted itself to live comfortably in desert. Their mouths are so tough that even the sharp thorn cannot burst through. Their mouths are so tough and rough and strong that even the sharpest thorn cannot penetrate their mouth. So this is the chapter, this wonderful thing about the desert animals. Hope you all understood it, and we'll do solutions later on. Thank you.